We've yet to take victory around the streets of Monaco on this journey with Mercedes, but today we might just be favourites to do that. Hello folks, welcome to episode 71 of this journey with Mercedes here on F1 Manager. My name's Aaron and we are preparing for the Monaco Grand Prix. It was off the calendar in Season 3. It's back for Season 4 and we come to Monaco in control of both championships. And if you missed the last episode, George Russell swept the board. He had pole position and he won the sprint and he won the Grand Prix. I don't think he got fastest lap in the race though, but he took all the things that mattered. So he now has a whopping 41 point lead at the top of the championship over Lando Norris. Then it's Max Verstappen, who's a point behind him, Charles Leclerc, who had a bit of an off day in Spain, still on 75 points. Oscar Piastri dropped down to P6 because he only managed P6, I think, in the race. So hopefully the fact that our car looks pretty strong around Monaco will allow Oscar to do some damage. But let's just compare the two cars. I don't think Oscar is in as good a position. Yeah, the low speed is only 8th. This is the problem we've got for Oscar at the moment, is that he hasn't got all of the upgrades on his car. So yeah, he's sort of lagging behind a little bit in that sense. George Russell, though, looks like he will be in a very strong position. I'm just going to check and make sure that we do... Yeah, we haven't got any other parts that we can put on Oscar's car because of the factory fire, which meant we had to put everything on hold. So those updates won't be coming to Oscar's car until maybe Austria, which is the next round, or maybe even Silverstone. So he's going to be in a bit of a painful scenario around the streets of Monaco, but hopefully we can do something really good with him and pull something out of the bag. Right, I'm going to get stuck into practice, make sure the cars are set up perfectly for this race, and then I'll see you in qualifying. So disappointing Q2 for Oscar Piastri. He's been eliminated. He got some traffic on his second flying lap and only set a personal best in the middle sector. The first and third sectors were not improvements from his first lap, and it means he will start the Monaco Grand Prix from P11. George Russell, though, topped the times. It was, I think it might have been Pourchaire or Sainz getting there in front of Piastri. Also Pierre Gasly has been knocked out in Q2 as well. So Ferrari are a car down. But it's ironically the teams with a driver knocked out in Q2 who have topped the session. George Russell just ahead of Lando Norris. Let's go to Q3 then and see what happens. We only need to worry about one car in this situation. Normally we have two to deal with, but we'll just send George Russell immediately and get a lap on the board. Okay, first run then in Q3 for George Russell. He's got Jack Crawford ahead of him, giving him a bit of a tow. Hopefully that doesn't turn into traffic for the championship leader. It's of course a purple first sector, and look at how much time he is gaining on the AlphaTauri. This might not work out particularly well for us in the middle sector. Let's see. I mean, we're right up behind the young American driver. We're clearly faster. But in comparison to our rivals, I think this is going to hurt us. What are we going to set in terms of lap time? It's a 10.1. That's not good enough. That's very not good enough. So work to do then in our second run. We were 1.3 seconds quicker than Crawford though, so that explains why he held us up. Alright, we're gearing up for our final flying lap. Charles Leclerc has set a purple first sector as he's actually just gone fastest ahead of Felipe Drugovich, who had topped the times ahead of Verstappen and Russell. It's quite a wacky grid at the moment. We're very close to Verstappen, which is either going to be very useful or it's going to hurt us again. I didn't intend to be this close to the Dutchman. There's 30 seconds left in the session. That is Drugovich in the background. We are right on the Red Bull. This is really going to hurt us in terms of lap time. We're going to be at the whim of what Max Verstappen can do. It's not an improvement in the first sector for either driver, to the shock of absolutely nobody. Middle sector then, what can we produce? Sonoda has actually gone fourth fastest. We could be starting this race 5th on the grid at this rate. As Norris goes 2nd, Russell's down to 6th and not improving. This is becoming a disastrous session for Mercedes. 1 out in Q2 and potentially not a car in the top 5. Russell only 6th. Charles Leclerc has pole position in Monaco. Yeah, we didn't get the track space. We ended up in traffic. That's poor from me in terms of not managing that particularly well. And we've paid the price. We will start 6th and 11th. Charles Leclerc on pole by some 0.3 from Norris. Drugovich in the Alpine is 3rd. And Tsunoda getting in the way as well in the AlphaTauri. Well, if we want to win this race, we're going to have to do it the not just the hard way, the extremely hard way. We might have a bit of a helping hand in this race. I said we have to do it the extremely hard way, but there's going to be some rain during the Monaco Grand Prix, and it's going to come bang in the middle of it, really. So we've got sort of 15, 20 laps of dry running at the start, and then 20 or so laps of dry running at the end, and the rest in between is going to be filled with rain. So I have set the strategy accordingly. We'll just be using soft slicks at various points in the race and a set of intermediates, I would assume. And I've underfueled both cars. We need to make progress early. Hopefully we can undercut everybody else onto the inters and make some positions that way. We can be really bold, I think, with Oscar and just go for it. If there's an opportunity, we might as well go for it because he's starting in 11th, which is out of position. George Russell really should be on pole position, but he's not. We need to get him to the front and sadly deny Charles Leclerc a home victory. Although if he does win, kudos, because always good to win your home Grand Prix. But we're going to disrupt that. We're still going to go out and try and win the Monaco Grand Prix. Let's do a motor race. Here we go then. We're waiting for the 5 red lights. It's Leclerc versus Norris off the front row. The lights are out and the race is on. We're looking for George Russell, who's a little bit further back. He's actually got Théo Pourchaire sneaking up the inside of him. That is not appreciated, young Théo. But Russell has got himself back in front. We probably need to immediately start driving in clean air with both drivers. A yellow flag out. Are we going to have a red flag that sees us restart in the rain? I don't know. Piastri has managed to... Is he sneaking up a position? No, he's trying to go around Crawford but can't find the way through. Let's jump on board with the young Aussie. And he is going through. Here goes Oscar Piastri. P10. There we go. Great job, Oscar Piastri. What's George Russell up to? He is behind Tsunoda and he needs to dispatch Tsunoda quickly. Otherwise he is going to be in trouble. George Russell still behind Yuki Tsunoda, who won't have DRS, which is crucial. Or snuck just inside that 1 second. Let's see if we can get through. We need to deploy and push, I think. Don't know if we're close enough though. Are we close enough? Here goes George Russell. Tsunoda moves to the racing line and defends. So this is very much not ideal. And he's on a set of mediums. They're all on flipping mediums. The battery might be drained here for George Russell, but he is going to sneak up the inside, I think, past Yuki Tsunoda. Is he? Is he? They're going to be side by side. Let's jump on board with George. Up the inside into Casino Square, and it was brave, but it had to be done, and he is into 5th position. And now we can size up Max Verstappen. Here's Piastri. And in fact, no, Tsunoda's got back past. I thought we had the job done. So Russell needs to neutral deploy. Just then we can make sure this sticks. There we go. Right. I thought Pourchaire had got through and I realised Tsunoda... Oh! There's been a collision. George Russell has crashed into Tsunoda. What? How has this happened? No, it's Tsunoda hitting us. It's Tsunoda hitting us. Absolutely brilliant. So that hasn't damaged our car, but Tsunoda, I would hope, has picked up a penalty for that. He has. Good. We're sizing up Yuki Tsunoda once more. He's got damage to that AlphaTauri, and we're just going to blast past it. And now we need to get away from him. He's cost us 2.5 seconds. Piastri is absolutely on one. He's passing Théo Pourchaire, and soon he'll be exactly one position behind his teammate, having started 5 spots behind him. So Oscar is having a lovely race, making the moves, making them count, and making them stick. George is setting about catching Verstappen, who's still stuck behind Drugovich. Okay, Oscar Piastri's turn now. Let's jump on board with the young Aussie. Can we get past Tsunoda?
So we're low on battery.
Yes, we can. There's the damage to the front wing of the AlphaTauri, and the Japanese driver loses another place. We've secured 5th and 6th now at Mercedes, but that's absolutely not where we want to finish. Okay, Max Verstappen has got past Felipe Drugovich, so we need to press on and try and get past the Alpine as well. Otherwise, the Dutchman is going to find his way into the winning battle. Here we go then, George Russell, and in double speed, we just absolutely obliterated the distance between us and the Alpine. Well, it's another position gained. George Russell has overtaken Max Verstappen. I've had George driving in clean air the entire race, and I think that might be the way forward around Monaco, because it just means you're always moving out to the side on the pit straight, and eventually you'll find a way through. George Russell up into 3rd position, and are we faster than those ahead? Well, we've just done a 14.6, so that's quick. Alright, the rain has arrived. Let's see how quickly it starts to fall. We'll just keep it in the ×4 scenario. It doesn't look like it's falling particularly quickly right now, but I think it's going to get more intense in a few minutes' time. So if we can time our stop correctly, we will be in a very, very good position. Russell continues to close the gap to the leaders. He's done a 15.7 last time around. Piastri now 2.8 seconds behind Drugovich, 0.6 quicker last time around. Verstappen 4 seconds behind Russell now. That shows you that we really should have been on pole position, and how much Verstappen actually hindered us in qualifying. Okay, we are going to make the decision now to call Oscar Piastri in for some inters. It's going to be a little bit early, but if you can see here by this graph on the right hand side, he's basically about to be out of tyres and at risk of a puncture. So I'm going to call him in now. Hopefully we did it in time. We did. We're at 0.6 of a millimetre, but it's going to start to rain a little bit more heavily soon. Tsunoda has come in as well, so the AI is starting to think about intermediates too. So let's bring George Russell in, who's dropped to 6 seconds behind Lando Norris. The two at the front, obviously, with the benefit of clear air, were able to look after their tyres a little bit more. Let's deploy and push with Oscar Piastri. We'll get George basically doing the same. In fact, he's just come into the pit lane. So Leclerc and Norris boxed on the same lap. Good stop from the boys and girls in the pit lane. So Russell doesn't get the undercut. But now we can almost basically go again on the inters. Alright, we are now less than a second behind Lando Norris once again. Having dropped a little bit further back, the tyres got a bit warm. But what we're going to do now, because we're driving in clean air, I'm going to get George to deploy. I'm going to get him to go aggressive on the tyres as the sun starts to come out. We're going to push with the fuel as well. We're going to see if we can get this overtake done on the Ferrari. It would put us just 3 seconds off the lead. Norris moves to the left-hand side to defend, but that, I think, is a mistake. George Russell, oh, it's very, very close. He hasn't quite got it done. We'll have to try again on the next lap around. Norris feeling the need to defend up the hill as they go into the left-hander, Massenet. I only just remembered that name in time. But we are pushing. Let's see if we can find a way through. We'll push with the battery again as we come out of Rascasse on this lap around. We will cut back to the action now, and we're very fast through the swimming pool, splashing our way through it. What about this time? Are we close enough? I think we might be a bit closer. No, oh, we still can't quite get it done. It is now a three-way fight at the front, which George Russell is actually just dropping off the back of a little bit. We've been managing tyres. Let's have a look at the tyre situation. They've all used 13% of their tyres, so all good there. We are essentially 2 seconds off the lead and in a very, very good position. So we could make an overtake, but we could also potentially undercut this pair when we go back to slicks. We're just making sure we top up the battery. Piastri is actually in a very good position here to attack Felipe Drugovich. So I'm going to get him driving in clean air too. And I'm going to get him being aggressive. We do need to conserve fuel a little bit more. I might just get both drivers to do that now. Right, we have an officially dry track, which means we could be in for some slick tyres, although this forecast says there's still going to be more rain, but I think it's just going to stay at a dry level. There's still going to be some water on the track. There are drivers going in for slicks, it would seem. This is Esteban Ocon going for a set of mediums. What is Charles Leclerc going to do? We're negotiating some traffic at the moment. What is the Monegasque driver going to do at his home Grand Prix? Is it ready for slicks? I don't know. Oh, he's almost had a collision with a back marker. That wasn't ideal for him. He would have lost a little bit of time. But this does mean that DRS is now enabled. And George Russell is going to get stuffed by the traffic. Right, I'm thinking, because it's now 0.66 millimetres, I'm thinking we call Oscar Piastri in for a brand new set of softs to take to the end of this race.
So box,
and see how he does. Almost use him as the guinea pig there. George lost some time behind Nick De Vries, so we've not got DRS on Norris at the moment. He's still stuck behind a Haas, which I think is Maloney. There you go. So Oscar Piastri into the pit lane. The track doesn't seem to be getting much drier. The drivers on slicks, Ocon did a 22.8, a slow stop for Piastri. So this could be hero or zero stuff at Mercedes. And the Aussie is going to drop back out in P8, just ahead of Théo Pourchaire. George Russell is now fighting with Lando Norris, and there he goes! Is he going through? Yes! George Russell, second position in the Monaco Grand Prix. That's the best result we've had around the streets of Monte Carlo. 2 seasons ago now, we followed Max Verstappen home. And now we could snatch the lead from Charles Leclerc. I think we're even going to be in DRS range. The track is actually getting wetter, which is not ideal for Oscar. He has caught Alex Albon though, so that's interesting. He's just on an 18.6, so I think slicks might still be a decent bet, but if it gets a little bit wetter, in fact Piastri's just gone past Albon like he wasn't there. Russell, we could lead this race before we go back to slicks, and I'm very much in favour of doing that, but there is a Logan Sargent who's about to give Leclerc some DRS unless the Williams gets out of the way, and he's now going to get in our way. Lovely stuff. Logan, gosh, I thought he was about to wipe us out of this race. Charles Leclerc is just coming in. I was just about to size up the overtake on the Red Bull, but now we need to deploy and make the most of these tyres. It's got past 0.8 of a millimetre, which means it's kind of a coin flip, and Inters tend to be a little bit stronger at that point. So we are going to call George to the box. We've got used soft tyres to put on. What has Leclerc put on? Both Red Bulls are in the pit lane, and it is surely a set of softs for Leclerc. It's a brand new set of softs too. Piastri has got ahead of Max Verstappen. He's right behind Drugovich now. We do need to look after the tyres to the end of the race. but he's actually undercut Max Verstappen and got 10 seconds on the Dutchman. Verstappen must have had to queue a bit for Leclerc. Neat and tidy stop at Mercedes. Right, where is Leclerc? He's coming through the Rascasse. This is shades of Ricciardo versus Hamilton. I think we've got the lead. Do you know what? We have! We are back in... Well, we are in the lead for the first time. I say we're back in the lead because we haven't been in the lead since the end of the Spanish Grand Prix. And now, we're even P4 with Oscar Piastri. What a brilliant drive from Oscar. We do need to keep saving fuel with him though, but he's got some 12 seconds to Verstappen in which to do all of that. But George Russell, as the sun starts to shine, is in the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix. Who says you need to be on pole to win at Monaco? Just a little bit of rain and you get an opportunity. Fantastic. George Russell's just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 12.7, which was 8 tenths quicker than Charles Leclerc. The Monegasque had got to within a second, just about. I don't know if he got DRS, but George has responded by putting his foot down and asserting his control on this race and also the championship. With Oscar, we are still saving fuel. We could probably pick that speed up a little bit.
And think about left and coast.
Because we pitted early, we've now got ourselves to P4, but we can't really push too much more in terms of trying to catch Norris, who's just kind of fallen away and I think has settled for third. Now, Russell's fastest lap has been beaten by Alex Albon. Excuse me, the lap times will continue to drop, but with about 15 laps to go, we are now 3 seconds almost in the lead. Alright, 10 laps to go. George Russell has opened up a 7-second lead on Charles Leclerc. We are dominating this race. If we'd started from pole, George would have just destroyed everybody today, I think. The car is that good around low speed corners and he is in the form of his life. Oscar Piastri, it's a slightly different story. Yes, we've got him to P4 with 10 laps to go. There is a rather large shark called Max Verstappen coming to get him, and you can just sort of hear the Jaws music in the background, can't you? And it's now just 3 seconds the gap. We are trying to top up the battery, so we've got something to defend with, but we might have to allow the Dutchman through. I say allow. I mean, we're going to put up a fight as much as we can. We might finish in P5 with Oscar, but it is difficult to overtake in Monaco, and we're going to make absolute best use of that as much as we can. And Verstappen really, really quick on this lap. He's just done a 12.8, and I think he's absolutely going for it again. Topping up does reduce your lap time, and we've just conceded basically 3 seconds in 2 laps. So Verstappen's right on us. What I might get Oscar to do is rarely defend. So he stays on the racing line. This could be a complete mistake. Let's see. Is Verstappen just going to go down the outside? He's just done the fastest lap. Okay, well, we tried. We tried. Yeah, that says it all, doesn't it, Oscar? But still, P5 from P11, that's very good going. And here we are then, the final lap. George Russell now leads by 13.5 seconds. And I think he's still increasing it. Yeah, he's just gone quicker than Leclerc on the penultimate lap. Piastri has very much settled for P5, which I'm absolutely fine with. Q2 was not particularly helpful for him. Just the traffic situation was a nightmare. And then it caught us out in Q3. But we've recovered beautifully, I think. And George Russell got the moves done when he needed to. That move on Lando Norris, absolutely crucial. But also, Red Bull's decision to pit first was not smart. It gave us an opportunity on those inters to do a quick lap, which we did. George delivered. Remember, he was hit by Yuki Tsunoda as well early on. So we've survived that attack from the Red Bull family. So it's all been thrown at us this weekend, but eventually we have got there and we are going to win in Monaco. George Russell makes it a hat-trick of victories. 4 in a row if you count the sprint in Spain, but 3 Grand Prix wins in a row. George Russell wins the Monaco Grand Prix. Come on! And Oscar Piastri is going to bring home P5, having started 11th. That's still a very, very good job. Yes, he's going to finish some 8 seconds off of Verstappen, but that's fine. We got him back into a really strong position with some good strategy. He did a great job early on with some superb overtaking. Absolutely brilliant. He was much like the driver he's taken the seat of in Lewis Hamilton, who got overtakes done when he needed to. And a very well-earned P5 here for Oscar Piastri. Lovely stuff. Let's go to the podium for our two favourite things, confetti and champagne in Monaco. It's been a long time since Mercedes have won the Monaco Grand Prix. I believe it was 2019 that Lewis Hamilton won it. And obviously it wasn't held in 2020, but I don't think Mercedes have since won on the streets. But they've finally done it. We've guided them to victory. George Russell is the man in Monaco. Charles Leclerc has again been denied victory in his home race. Such a shame for him, because always good to see a driver win their home race. Lando looks a bit fed up with finishing not first. And there's the confetti, here's the champagne, and we love it. A hat-trick of wins, and George Russell now fully in command of this World Championship after just, 6 races? I think his lead is, if not already, it's approaching 50 points. And there he is, just thanking the crew. So George Russell wins the Monaco Grand Prix from 6th on the grid. Like that would really ever happen in the real racing. Oscar Piastri up 6 positions because of his excellent early overtakes. Gasly up 7, having qualified 14th. It was a bad day for Théo Pourchaire. He just went backwards. And Tsunoda, because he crashed into us. Max Verstappen did get the fastest lap in the end, and we've scooped 25 points. So let's see how this affects the constructors. We've actually outscored Red Bull, and not again. Brilliant. So we've extended our lead to 17 points in the Constructors' Championship. Obviously with so many points available at a race weekend across 2 cars, that could change very quickly. Here's the Drivers' Championship then, and my word, George Russell is in an extremely commanding position. It is a 51-point lead he now has over Lando Norris. That's 2 Grand Prix victories and 1 fastest lap. So George could put his feet up for a couple of races and just sort of stroke it home in 3rd for a bit and still have a decent championship lead after it. But we're not going to let up here. We want to crush the opposition, and we need to get Oscar moving forwards. I think if we can get him close enough to one of the Red Bulls or Lando by the end of the season to finish in the top 4, that is a very good job. But George, being every inch the team leader we hoped he would be this season, and is just blowing the competition away. A 3rd straight win. Can anybody stop us going to Austria? Well, if you appreciate 3 wins on the bounce, make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up, and a first win around Monaco. Subscribe for that down below. Make sure you join us for the Austrian Grand Prix in the next episode. You're the best fans. I'll see you in Spielberg. Goodbye for now.